Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. जयो विष्णुपाद प्रहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्र श्रीमद अभय चरणारविंद भक्तिवेदांत गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की, इस्कॉन बीबीटी फाउंडर आचार्य प्रभुपाद की, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद भागवतम की, समवेद गौर भक्त वृंद की, निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे. All Gauris assembled devotees, all Gauris assembled devotees, all Gauris assembled devotees, all Gauris, all Gauris, all Gauris, Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 7, Text number 29. Varnashrama vibhagamscha Varnashrama vibhagamscha Rupa Shila Swabhavatah Rupa Shila Swabhavatah Rishinam Janma Karmani Rishinam Janma Karmani Vedasya cha Vikarshanam Vedasya cha Vikarshanam Varnashrama vibhagamscha Rupa Shila Swabhavatah Rishinam Janma Karmani Vedasya cha Vikarshanam Varnashrama vibhagamscha Rupa Shila Swabhavatah Rishinam Janma Karmani Vedasya cha Vikarshanam Vedasya cha Vikarshanam Varnashrama vibhagamscha Kashila Swabhavatah Jasya Karmani Vedasya cha Vikarshanam Varnashrama vibhagamscha Rupa Shila Swabhavatah Rishinam Janma Karmani Vedasya cha Vikarshanam. Matajis. Varnashrama vibhagamscha Shila Swabhavatah Rishinam Janma Karmani Vedasya cha Vikarshanam. Varnashrama, the four divisions of social statuses and orders of spiritual culture. Vibhaghan, respective divisions. Cha, also. Rupa, personal features. Shila Swabhavatah, personal character. Rishinam, of the sages. Janma, birth. Karmani, activities. Vedasya, of the Vedas. Cha, and. Vikarshanam, categorical divisions. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. O great sage, kindly describe the divisions of and orders of human society in terms of symptoms, behavior, and characteristics of mental equilibrium and sense control. Also, please describe the births of the great sages and the categorical divisions of the Vedas. Purport. The four statuses and orders of human society, Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras, as well as Brahmacharis, Grihasthas, Vanaprasthas and Sannyasis, are all divisions of quality, education, culture and spiritual advancement attained by practicing the control of mind and senses. All these divisions are based on the particular nature of each individual person, not on the principle of birth. Birth is not mentioned in this verse because birth is immaterial. Vidura is famous in history as born of a Shudrani mother, yet he is more than a Brahmana by qualification because he is seen here to be the disciple of a great sage Maitreya Muni. Unless one achieves at least the Brahmanical qualifications, one cannot understand the Vedic hymns. Mahabharat is also a division of the Vedas, but it is meant for women, Shudras and Dvijabandhus, the worthless children of the higher section. The less intelligent section of the society can avail themselves of the Vedic instructions simply by studying the Mahabharat. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajata Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya O Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Seek blessings of all the devotees assembled here and online for hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam. Grateful to each one of you for making this a priority that first thing in the morning, before we delve into the happenings of this world, that we want to enter into this sacred space of Srimad Bhagavatam, where the most important, pertinent discussions for the progress of human life are being narrated. And when we come across these discussions, we can see the quality of questions that are being asked and the quality of answers that are being given, that they are not time constrained, they are not person constrained, but these are the universal messages and histories that are being narrated. It's not that these histories Parikshit Maharaj didn't hear before, but the most essential wisdom that we can learn from the events that happened. And when we get to hear the Bhagavatam, then we get to see the heart of all these ancient personalities. Else when we read other Puranas or their activities, many times don't get to know the intention. What is the the heart with which they are practicing, they are living their lives. Most prominently, the heart of Vidura is here being revealed to us. Same way in the Bhagavatam we can see the heart of Bhishma. If we just read the Mahabharat, then you may not conclude completely that he is single-pointedly focused. He is an unalloyed devotee of Krishna. But the Bhagavatam was, came forth after Vyasadeva wrote the Mahabharat, and Vyasadeva was told by Narada Muni that now you go even deeper and reveal the hearts of these devotees, because when we know what is the purpose for which he was doing this, then we can properly understand the context. So here in Vidura, one of the longest sections in the Bhagavatam, where Vidura's discussion, practically third and fourth cantos, we keep on coming across Vidura, Maitreya, and sometimes we may get lost that who exactly, what is the discussion, because there are multiple levels of the story being narrated. So here in Vidura is asking further questions, and especially about in this particular verse, about the Varnashram and about the sages. And Prabhupada wanted us to go through each verse daily and make it a daily meditation, that stop, relish, and then proceed. Sometimes when we're traveling, if we are in a high-speed, say, vehicle, we hardly notice, what are all the things that are around you. And nowadays, because of the mobile, we don't notice anything. Like we are just lost in that screen. And all the space that is outside of us, we become oblivious. But say you're taking a walk and you're not carrying a device, then the whole world, tree by tree, step by step, it starts to hit you. Oh, this is all this things that are happening all around me. But when we are in a rush, then we miss. So Prabhupada didn't want us to rush the Bhagavatam. Okay, just take the sections and discuss. Many commentators, they narrate Mahabharat or Bhagavat or Gita as sections. This is what gross is being discussed. But Prabhupada wanted to make us stop at every step. Like we have Dandavat Parikrama in Govardhan. At every step the devotee offers 108 obeisances or 10 or 1008 obeisances. So what we do in Bhagavatam is like Dandavat Parikrama. At every step, stop, meditate, see what the introspect, what this verse has to do with our life, and how we can deepen the message, and then only take a step ahead. So, and this Bhagavat Dandavat Parikrama almost takes 11 years, I guess this is our second parikrama of the Bhagavatam. Previously, it had started somewhere in second or third. Any of the old timers, seniors can. As per me, it is the second time, or maybe it is the third. So this is the third parikrama of the Bhagavatam, and here we are in Vidura Maitreya Samvad. So the Maitreya Muni is being asked about the divisions of Varnashram. And the purport, Prabhupada says that the Varnas, what are the Varnas? Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. And Ashrama is Brahmachari, Grahastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyas. And Prabhupada brilliantly mentions here that there are 4 divisions of social status. The Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, these are social statuses based on the occupation they are doing. And Ashrama is, Prabhupada mentions here as orders of spiritual culture. It is about the culture of life that you wish to practice in that stage to progress in your life. So one is a status, another is a culture. So a brahmachari is not a status of life. It is definitely in the age span, it may fall from 0 to 25. But it is for a particular culture. To adopt and absorb a particular culture, the brahmachari ashram is there. Then for the grahastha ashram, then there is another set of culture and values that are set so that he becomes more aligned to develop his love for Krishna, to practice devotion service. Different stages of life are different cultures that one practices. So that he wants to know how is this division done, and this division is not based on birth. There is a verse by Srila Narad Muni in the 7th canto, where he is describing the different varnas and ashramas. So there he says, Yalyal Lakshanam, that based on the Lakshana, based on this, not based on the birth, but based on the Lakshana, Yasya Yal Lakshanam Proktam, Pumso Varnabhi Vyanjikam. Yat anyatrapi drishyeta tatteneva vinirdeshet. That one who shows the symptoms of a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya or Shudra, even if he is in of a different class. Sociologically, sometimes somebody is born in a Shudra family. The father is a Shudra or a father is a Kshatriya. But based on the qualities that the person is exhibiting, we should designate, we should identify that this person is a Brahmana or is a Kshatriya. And Prabhupada herein mentions about Vidura. Vidura was born of a Vedavyas and a Shudra, Shudrani. So, because and Vedavyas was not, so he practically grew up as the son of this Shudrani mother, and therefore many times he is considered as a Shudra, but by qualification, because of the wisdom and the depth of the scriptures that he had, he was a Brahmana. Though socially he was not accepted that way, but spiritually we can see that He is a Brahmana. And Prabhupada is mentioning here that without that Brahmanical qualification, the Vedas cannot be directly understood. One cannot have a direct interface with the Vedas to get the wisdom, because one may wrongly conclude what is the message that is being told. Some years back, I was hearing one story that one lady, one little boy, he was watching some spiritual discourse on the, and then in that he heard about that how body is material. We are not actually body, we are soul, we are spiritual being, and this body is just a bondage. So when this boy heard this in the class, then he goes to his mother and he tells his mother that, "Mother, if this body is a bondage, why should we stay in the body? Why not end the body? Because anyway, I'm not able to get good marks, so much homework, all this I have to do. So let me end my body." So mother became very alarmed and said, "No more watching of any of these videos." Because before a person is mature enough, if he is given a particular knowledge which he cannot digest, then he'll definitely draw wrong conclusions. There also some person that is that when he heard that God is everywhere, then he didn't know where to keep his feet. Then he keeps his feet on the DT and sleeps. Bhagavan to sab jagah hai, so if I keep my feet here also, God is there and God is here also. So it doesn't make a difference where I keep my feet when I'm sleeping. And he keeps his feet on the Lord and sleeps. So wrong application of the philosophy. So when a person who is not qualified, when he hears directly and tries to interpret, then for sure he will try to do something that his adhikar doesn't permit, or even if he does, he may get proud. That, see, I am no better than I am doing this and not doing that. Therefore, Shila Swabhavata, his character, his eligibility is seen whether he is qualified enough to practice that particular knowledge or to be in that particular ashrama or varna. And therefore the guru and the parents used to guide that disciple or the child what way he can best progress in his life. So this is a very important aspect, because some Western scholars, when they try to delve into our scriptures, they wrongly conclude about the Varnashrama or about the Vedas or about Krishna. They come with wrong kind of understanding. But we have to approach the scriptures through the acharyas. And that's what is being mentioned here. That I also want to learn about the rishis, the sages, the perfected beings, how about their birth and about their activities. And so in the universal creation, Brahma has two kinds of creation or two kinds of purposes. One is to give a soul what he wants, and another is to give a soul what he needs. And what he wants, no, he is given as per the varnashrama, as per the karmic, no, quota, he is given what he wants. But the spiritual lineage, the sages, the Guru Shishya Parampara has been also simultaneously started. The dharma has been started so that the person also gets what he needs. Because no matter we may want because of social media or social pressure, the child may want so many things. I want this, I want that. But what he mainly needs is love, is growth, is nourishment, which the child may not understand. Many times now we see, children may want to have all kinds of, snacks, and they don't want to eat the main course. And if we just keep snacking, then he will not grow healthily. At some time or other, then, he will start to have all types of health issues. Or also, mental problems. So what he needs also should be, given. So the rishis, the sages, they do this task. Because many times when you try to give something that the soul doesn't want, there is resistance. Like the child resists, I don't want to eat this. Same with the sage, when the guru or the sadhu is trying to give, there is definitely resistance from the people. Therefore, one of the important qualities of a sadhu that is given in the Bhagavad is titikshava, that he has to be extremely tolerant. Titikshava, karunika, suruda sarvadehina, ajata shatravo shanta, sadhavo sadhu bhushana. The first thing that is told is the sadhu has to be tolerant. Because sometimes when we don't develop that quality of tolerance, of real concern for others, when we try to go and help someone, and when they don't take that help, we get offended, we get disappointed. Why is this person, I am doing this for his welfare, but he doesn't take. So therefore, what are the characteristics, the janma and the karma of the sages is being, Vidura wants to know. And the sages, it's not just somebody who is in the forest, he is a sage. Somebody who is in the royal opulence, like Maharaj Parikshit, he is also called as a rishi, a Raja Rishi. A king outside, but a sage within. Somebody who is developing the saintly qualities that are needed. And both these things are Parikshit, Vidura wants to know from Maitreya, that I want to know how Krishna has catered to different needs of the living entity, different wants of the living entity, and also how the sages are trying to give what the soul, what the people need. Once one famous entrepreneur, a big person in the tech world, he said that till you present a product to people and show all its benefits, many times people don't understand the utility of the product. So therefore, don't just speak about it, show it in practice, show it how it helps you, and then people will start to buy it. Same with the sages, they just can't speak about it, they have to exhibit, they have to show these qualities. And the Bhagavatam is filled with how different difficulties when they are faced by Maharaj Parikshit or Bhishma, Kunti, Dhruva, Prahlad Maharaj. We have a wonderful movie coming up, Mahatar Narsimha, portraying the wonderful glories of Prahlad Maharaj. So when we showcase this, when we understand, when we see their life and history, then when difficulties come upon us, we kind of are able to take them in a sportive spirit, in a proper spirit. And recently I was asking one of my senior devotees, that why is it that almost everyone in this world faces challenges, situations that he never expected will happen in his life. That aisa bhi hoga. And Krishna, and even Arjuna says this in the Gita. Nimittani cha pashyami viparitani Keshava. Oh Krishna, I always thought this way of life that I am living is a way for me to become successful, for me to become happy. But the same thing that I thought will bring me happiness is turned into a reversal. Viparitani is exact opposite of what I thought. The same object which I thought is going to give me pleasure becomes the cause of my anxiety, becomes the cause, the same house, which I take because of the EMI or other things, so much time and effort goes in maintaining it that there is hardly any time for getting pleasure from it. So life has to be seen not just as a plan that we make and we try to execute, but life is an adventure. That the surprises that life throws is preparing us to understand the grace and the mercy of Krishna and to become a better person, a better human being, a better devotee. And when we go through the Bhagavatam with all these, then slowly, these qualities, because whatever we associate, a part of that vibration, that qualities start to percolate into us. If we associate with something disturbing, then naturally that disturbing quality also comes into us. So the Vedas is filled with these historical narrations, and especially Prabhupada here mentions about the Mahabharat, and how somebody, if he is not qualified to directly interface with the Vedas, then there are the sages, the gurus, and even if they want to, I want to directly read, then the Itihasas, especially the Mahabharata, was compiled for those who are not directly qualified to understand the Vedas, to make them qualified. And it is kind of a oxymoron that Mahabharat means Maha, something that is great, is compiled for something that somebody who is very low, less intelligent people are given the great Bharat. So what is this Maha mean? Some time back, Shamantu was giving this example. Who is considered a great teacher? Not somebody who takes a highly qualified lot of students and makes them crack into best of the colleges. He is not considered as a great teacher. A great teacher is one who can take the lowest of the qualified people, totally unqualified people, and makes them qualified for something wonderful. He is considered as a great. And that is what the Mahabharat does. So that is one of the meanings of Maha. It is not just in terms of proportion that there is no, how many? 1 lakh verses in the Mahabharata are there, but it is about the journey, that because most of the times one who is totally interested in spiritual subjects, what is he interested in? He is interested in drama, in entertainment, in romance, in violence, in intrigue, in suspense. And all these are built into the Mahabharata. Most of the stories, movies or whatever, comes on is somewhere or other taken directly or indirectly from the Mahabharata. That there is this intensity between who will own the land, or who will occupy the position, or who will get the girl, and then the whole story is viewed in that way. So that's why Mahabharata is as that word Maha, so that even the lowest of the unqualified, gradually as he progresses, he starts to get the gist that Krishna, if somebody is, like when I used to read in my childhood different aspects, different stories, somehow I used to get this thing that somewhere or other Vishnu or Krishna is special, because whenever there is a difficulty, he comes and eradicates. Because in childhood, most of the Telugu movies, the ending was that there is an intense fight or something, and then the police used to come. And the police used to come and they used to say, "Aapko charo hore se ghir chuke hai, now you have to surrender." And that the police is the last word in the entire society. In fact, it was such a craving that I wanted my parents to stitch me a police dress and used to wear in childhood as a police. But then as I was growing up and I was hearing these different stories, started to understand that this is just in the movies, but in the history of the world, whenever there has been any epidemic, any difficulty, all the devatas, they rush, or Krishna appears like Gajendra, Moksha or different. And therefore some kind of liking starts to develop. So when people go through the scriptures, they start to see the special role that the devotees or Vishnu, Krishna plays in this world. And in the Mahabharata, recently one of the most well-read, considered to be the most well-read, most erudite scholar of English language and our scriptures, he was asked, what is the most important book that you would recommend? And he said, it is Mahabharat. Because in the Mahabharat, everything is there. And most essentially, in the Mahabharat, the Bhagavad Gita is there. And Bhagavad Gita brings a soul's consciousness to its crescendo to try to, that the main purpose of life is to submit ourselves and surrender to the Lord and align our lives according to His will. Therefore, somebody kind of said, surrender is not to give up our freedom, but to understand that we have no freedom. And if we align with Krishna's will, then it is for our benefit. So this is one aspect of Maha that has been mentioned. And in the Mahabharata itself, Vyasadeva, he mentions this verse that there are 7 things that I am going to speak that are Maha in the Mahabharata. that are great in the Mahabharat. Vistaram Kuru Vamshasya. What is greatly described is the Kuru Vamsha. The dynasty of the Kurus has been described, starting from Yayati. And Yayati, no, lived one, all his life, and towards the end of his life, when he was getting old, he wanted to further enjoy. And he requests from his sons youth, which is not dharma. According to dharma, you live your life, and towards the end of your life, you try for moksha, you try to perfect your life. But he wanted to accept, from his children old age, give his children the old age and take youth from them so he could enjoy further. And the seed of selfishness starts from that episode. Of course, there, Puru, respecting his father's will, he sacrifices. And later, Bhishma, respecting his father's wish, he sacrifices, but against which is proper, which is dharma, and compromising the proper etiquette and example that one needs to set as a king. If somebody is an individual and he has the desires, but if somebody is a king, and if he sets this wrong example that, you can sacrifice others for your own pleasure, then that set a wrong tone. And Yadu, of course, Yadu refuses. And then there is the Yadu Vamsha that is there, and then there is the Puru Vamsha that starts. So this great dynasty in which these two qualities, and we can see in the cause for the entire Mahabharata was not just the selfishness of Dhritarashtra, but also the selflessness of Bhishma. Both selflessness of Bhishma and selfishness of Dhritarashtra landed into this situation where there was conflict. Selflessness, apparently selflessness of Bhishma, where he wanted nothing for himself but extended self, that now that I have my loyalty to the dynasty, to the throne, then whatever the throne requires, I will do, even if it is adharma. And that most prominently got exhibited in the Draupadi Vastraharan, where in front of all these greats, commanders and kings, a Vaishnavi, a lady, was disrobed, was insulted. But that was the last straw on the camel's back. That then Krishna decided that this entire dynasty has to be now wiped off, cleaned. But this intense dynamics and politics and all the intrigue that happens is the Mahakula of the Kuru Vamsha is described. And then the virtuousness, Gandhari's Dharmashilatam, her chastity, her virtuousness is also described. Not ordinary. It is great for someone to do what Gandhari did. Because her husband is blind, she also accepts voluntary blindness. And it's a matter of great debate. Should I have been a support? Because he is blind, let me become his eyes. Or blind following the blind. She also accepts that blindness. Not just physically, but also when children were doing wrong things, not correcting them. And then Kshattu Pragyam, the wisdom of Vidura. In spite of all the obstacles and situation that he was there, Vidura was having total clarity that who is to be supported and what is to be spoken. Although Dhritarashtra was wanting the kingdom, Vidura, being his well-wisher, like Vibhishana, was speaking the wisdom, the what is for the welfare of the Kauravas, but they could not understand. And Vidura, understanding that it is no more use of me being there because they are not accepting, they are not ready for this, and let me not sacrifice my own spiritual progress for making somebody else devotee. This is a a big lesson that we are caring for others, but not at the expense of one's own spiritual progress. That janma sarthaka kari kara paropakar. Help others as you are helping yourself. Don't stop your own spiritual progress, compromise for a long term in making someone else take up bhakti. I have to go to that disco club or for that movie so that they become my friends, and slowly you take up their qualities, then they taking up your qualities, your virtues. So Vidura was wise that the right time to leave, if somebody is not hearing, then exiting, and then also entering at the right time. The concern was always there. But if the disciple, if the student is not ready, then let me not impose. He came out, and when he saw that now that his trust, his foundation on which he was having that pride that I'll be the king, Bhishma, his sons was all removed. Now that he is totally shattered, now is the right time for him to go and give him the message. So a sage is always concerned for the welfare, but he will only intervene when the person is ready to accept it. Or he will devise interesting ways by which he can convey the message. Like I always speak this in our Gita course, that once a sage came to a king and he saw the king was totally not ready for spiritual knowledge. And the sage said, I can read the future. And definitely the king was ready. Oh, please tell me the future. And then the sage said that there is a good news, but there is a bad news. The good news is that you are doing such good activities that you will go to heaven. But the bad news is that you're going to die very soon. So the king became very little morose and said, no, but there is a good news. The good news is that you are going to go to heaven, but in the heaven there is lot of crowd, too much crowd. But the good news in the heaven, that although there is lot of crowd, we are going to give in a villa, a nice spacious bungalow. But the bad news is that in that bungalow there are a lot of mosquitoes. But the good news is that there is a mosquito net given to protect you from the mosquitoes in that bungalow. But the bad news is that there is a hole in the mosquito net. The good news is that there is a thread that is there to stitch that mosquito net. But the bad news is that there is no needle. So all you need to do is when you go to heaven, you take a needle with you. Very interesting way he explained everything. And the king totally got involved. And then he asked the sage, but can I take a needle? I can't take anything. I die like this. Totally, I can't take anything. And then the sage said, that's what I wanted to convey. You can't take anything. Why are you so occupied with trying to increase your wealth and not focusing on your spiritual growth? So then it clicked. So the sages, Narada Muni, all the sages, they devise interesting ways according to the level of the person to convey the message. But in spite of that, if they are not ready, then Prabhupada used to tell the famous story of Kailash. Again and again, Narada was coming to convey that. So wisdom of Vidura and the determination of Kunti to protect her children and to take care of her children. Dhritim Kuntya, the constancy and the determination of Kunti. That, and ultimately we can see, how her heart was totally, fascinated and captured by Krishna's love and his care. And therefore, at the end of her life, she is asking, let the calamities come again, because in that I am more conscious of you. So Kunti's determination to protect and to remain devoted in spite of all the difficulties. Long back I was reading one episode where the news comes that the Pandavas had won some kingdom or something. Immediately, the verse says that immediately she starts to thank Krishna and offer her love to Krishna. Although Krishna was not immediately there helping, but Kunti was able to see that it is only by Krishna's grace that we are able to overcome all these difficulties. And then the divinity of Krishna is also, again and again, when you read the Mahabharat, so many places, it keeps coming, but because it is in the context, sometimes some people, even Dhritarashtra, although so many times it was spoken, Krishna's greatness, he could not, even just before the Bhagavad Gita starts, there is a whole discussion where Sanjaya is speaking about glories of Krishna and how he should give up, but he could not. And therefore Bhagavatam was written to exclusively focus on the glorification. But Krishna's divinity also is greatly glorified in the Mahabharat. And Pandavas' dharma, the truthfulness and the righteousness of Pandavas is also there. And contrast to that, the evilness or the cruelty, the selfishness of the Kauravas is also greatly showcased. So these are the 7, and the 8th which I mentioned is the how any type of person interested in any kind of thing, if he gets into the Mahabharat and he starts to learn, and finally he'll come to the glories of Krishna at the spiritual life, and ultimately when he takes to the Bhagavatam, then he's fully nourished. So I'll stop here. Thank you for kind attention and time. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.
ओम ब्रह्मदेवाय नमः। तुम निसंदेही महाबलशाली हो। मेरे भाई का हत्यारा आज भी जीवित है।
यदि विष्णु से लड़ना है, ब्रह्मदेव की उपासना करो।
ब्रह्मदेवाय नमः।
हिरण्यकश्यप, मांगो, क्या वर मांगना चाहते हो?
सब कुछ। हे ब्रह्मदेव, मुझे वरदान दीजिए कि आपकी रचना से जन्मे इस सृष्टि के किसी भी जीव से मेरा वध ना हो, न मैं दिन में मरूं और न रात में। मेरी मृत्यु न घर के भीतर हो और न घर के बाहर, न अस्त्र से, न शस्त्र से, न सजीव से, न निर्जीव से।
अंधकार जब हद से बढ़ जाता है, वहाँ प्रकाश का पुनर्जन्म होता है।
प्रहलाद, माँ, मैं तब तक भगवान विष्णु का गुणगान करता रहूंगा जब तक सारे भक्त मुक्त न हो जाएं। एक नाम से सबकी मुक्ति है।
पुत्र, विष्णु का परित्याग कर।
मैं भगवान विष्णु को अपना शत्रु कदापि नहीं मानता।
भगवान को
छोड़ दो।
मैं प्रहलाद को मृत्यु दंड देता हूँ।
हम असुर हैं असुर। ये सब तुच्छ खेल हमारे गुरुकुल में शोभा नहीं देता है।
वे जैसा चाहे वैसा मेरे साथ कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि वे हर परिस्थिति में मेरे स्वामी हैं।
तो बुलाओ सर, आज ये निर्णय हो जाए कि हम दोनों के बीच गीदड़ कौन है और सिंह कौन है।